Hi, Pre-AP Chemistry. This is a video over significant figures. I'm creating this one for a review, but two, if I have to be asynchronous for some reason today, I want y'all to understand significant figures. So what are significant figures and why are they important? Well, for any measurable number, so a number that you measure, there's a degree of uncertainty to it, a degree that we don't understand. So for instance, when I step on the scale in the morning to weigh myself, it tells me, and this isn't my actual weight, but let's just say I weigh 100.7 pounds, okay? So it says 100.7, and so that's awesome, right? Feeling really good about myself, 100.7 lbs. Now, do I actually weigh exactly 100.7 pounds? Well, I don't know, that's just what my scale says. What if I go to the doctor's office and the doctor's office has an even better scale and theirs tells me that I actually weigh 100.74 pounds. And then this other one is still right, but it's just rounded. Okay, do I actually weigh that much? I probably don't. I probably could keep going in decimals if I had a instrument that could measure that exact. If I could get an instrument that could measure 15, 20, 30 decimals, that's probably what I actually weigh. I don't probably actually weigh 100.70. I probably don't. So this is an estimate. And when I go to the doctor's office, I realize that this one's not exactly right. It's close, but it's not exactly right. So I'm limited by my instrument. I am limited in the numbers that I actually know. My weight is an exact weight and I have tons of decimals behind it. Do I know what those decimals are? No, it depends on the instrument I'm using. And so because of that, we have a degree of uncertainty. So whenever I just see this, I could say, okay, it's 100 and I'm confident that I weigh 100 pounds. Like that's not changing. Now the 0.7, I'm fairly confident in it. Rounded, I know it's 0.7, whatever it is, rounded it would be 0.7, but there's probably a decimal behind this. And whenever I went to the doctor's office, I learned. Now, am I confident in this 4? So now this time with this number, I'm confident in the 100 and I'm confident in that 0.7. Am I confident in the 4? No, it's the same scenario. It could be rounded. My actual weight could really be 100.739. It could be 100.741. Both round to this number. So there's this degree of uncertainty. And so because of that, we have different, we only care about significant figures. So when you do math and like, let's say I wanted to figure out if, I don't know, whatever, if for some reason I was divided up somehow, my weight was divided up, or if I want to see if something can support me, I need to do math to it. I need to divide or multiply. And sometimes when we do that, we get tons of decimals. Well, we don't care about all those decimals. We only care about significant figures. And that's where we're working towards. Each number has significant figures, the ones that we care about, the ones that we are certain are correct. And so first we have to learn how to identify significant figures. So there's some rules involved. So zeros are what make things complicated. If it is a number between 1 and 9, it is significant. So 1 is significant, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So anywhere where you see that, they are significant. So like this 1 is significant, this 7 is significant. So just based off of what I've told you so far, it looks like that has 2 sig figs. This one, the 4 is significant also, so 3 sig figs. But zeros are what gets tricky. So we have rules for zeros. We have leading zeros, we have ending zeros, and we have zeros in the middle. This is an example of zeros in the middle. If you ever have zeros sandwiched between two numbers between 1 and 9, they are significant. So this actually, so both these zeros count too. So this is 4 significant figures because I am confident in each of these digits. I'm confident in the hundreds place, I'm confident in that tens place, and that ones place because I know my decimal place. And so this is 4 significant figures, 4 significant figures. Down here, the same rules apply, it's sandwiched. So this would be 5 significant figures. Okay, and so the significant figures rules, you just kind of have to memorize them. So we have leading zeros. Leading zeros mean it's a 0 in front of a number. The only time we really see this is when we have a decimal. And so if I have 0.025. Okay, leading zeros will never, ever, 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 ever count. Never. They never count. They are not significant. They will never be significant. So both of these guys are not significant. So that means only these two are significant. So this only has 2 sig figs because only the 2 and the 5 are significant because leading zeros never count. So these are my significant figures, and that's it. So we've covered 2 out of the 3 zero rules. Sandwiched zeros always count. Leading zeros never count. And now we have the one that's a little bit more confusing, and that's ending zeros. That's zeros that come at the end of the number. And we can write them with decimals and without decimals. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. I could write 1,000, okay? And then I could write 1,000 again, but this time I put a decimal and a 0. Okay, it's the same number, but one of these has way more significant figures. One of them we're way more confident in. And so this one, ending zeros only count if you have a decimal. So this one has no decimal. These zeros do not count. This one has a decimal, so these do count. So the only significant figure here is the 1. So this only has 1 sig fig. Oh, I need to move my camera a little so y'all can see my writing. Okay, this one on the other hand, this one counts, this one counts, this one counts, this one counts, this one counts. Why? Because of that decimal place right there. So this one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sig figs, all because it was written with a decimal. So decimals in science mean something. They mean something to us. They tell us significant figures. So decimals are super important. You only put them when you are confident in your numbers. And we'll talk about that later. Right now, I'm just going to have you do practice where I give you numbers and you tell me how many sig figs are in there. And so that's what we're practicing doing. And so these are all the rules. So middle zeros always count. If they're sandwiched between 2 numbers, they always count. Leading zeros, if they become before the number, they come to the left of the number, will never count. Ending zeros only count if there is a decimal. There has to be a decimal, and then all of those ending zeros, every single last one of them count. Okay, so those are the rules. Numbers 1 through 9 always count also. So hopefully that helps you out. If I'm not able to teach you today, hopefully it's a good little review video for you, okay? I hope you'll have a great day.